YouTube, what's going on? Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for stopping by and welcome back to Courtside Perspective, where a couple hours ago, Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant came to terms on a 4-year, $198 million contract extension that he is expected to sign after he becomes eligible tomorrow. And this is a massive move for the Brooklyn Nets, making him one of the highest paid players, deservedly so, in the NBA, and it is a massively necessary move for the Nets going forward. So what comes next? Well, you got to work on contract intentions for the other two of the big three, for Kyrie, Harden, as you continue your hunt for a title that you honestly could have and assumingly would have won if your team was healthy this past season. You locked your best guy in. Now it's time to continue to go for it all and work on extensions for the other two. Big three wanted to play together, and they are together. And you got to be careful with their free agencies coming in the next couple years. You now locked Kevin Durant in, so at the bare minimum, he ain't going nowhere. Unless he wants out sometime in the future, he ain't going nowhere the next 5 seasons. This upcoming season on this previous contract, and then the next 4 after that. That will carry him through the rest of his prime and into his mid to late 30s. Brooklyn Nets, I'm pretty sure, are top 2 title favorites. I'm not sure if they're number 1 or not, or if they're number 2. I'm pretty sure they're probably number 1 going into this next season, but don't quote me on that. And as long as they can stay healthy, in my opinion, no one will stop them on their route to a title. I talked about this in my Russell Westbrook video that went out yesterday, or no, actually went out a couple hours ago. That this upcoming season, it is expected that the Nets and the Lakers' big threes will meet in the NBA Finals, assuming health is not an issue. And in my honest opinion, the Nets will win that series, assuming that they all stay healthy. And they got their team around them. You brought back Blake Griffin. You lost Jeff Green, but you had to pick between the two, and you picked Blake. You have Joe Harris coming back because you gave him all that money last season. I'm not sure what your bench is still looking like. LaMarcus Aldridge is considering making a return, and you have to assume that the Nets are probably front runners to bring him in. You did bring in Patty Mills a couple days ago, I think on a 2-year deal. But obviously the Nets are in championship or bust mode, and this just solidifies their plans going forward. I just saw a tweet from a Nets page basically saying that with this deal, the goal is obviously to bring the other 2 back on extensions, but if you can bring them all back in leading until 2026, that's huge for the James Harden trade, because what I've heard was the last pick that they actually owe the Nets or the Rockets is in 2026. The only thing left would be a swap in 2027, but at the end of the day, who really cares? So if you can get these guys, if that's true, then if you can get these guys on extensions, then you're pretty much set for the future because the picks won't really matter as much. Going forward, you have to realize that you have to try and win titles now, because as most super teams or big threes go, the teams just get worse as years go by because the money goes up and you can't really afford to put another team around them. So it's important to win their titles early on. So I'm assuming that they're going for it. Obviously for all 5 of these years. These guys are under contract, or at least KD's under contract, but you gotta hope that they can win titles if you're the Nets this year and in the next couple, because your window will close sooner than you really do expect. Because we're being honest with each other, in 2026, you're probably not competing for a title, just straight up for the fact that the guys will be getting older. Like, just see something real quick. In 2026, Kevin Durant will be 37 years old. Okay? And the reality of it is you're probably not competing for a title when all 3 of your big 3 are in their late 30s. I'm not saying it's not possible, but your window is pretty much right now, and it's time to go do it. And if you're the Nets, you got one guy locked in, you got your main guy locked in. It's time to go out there and try and win a title right now before that window starts to close. But like I said, you still have a couple years. The bare minimum you have this year, next year, and the year after. So let's just say you have 3 years to win titles. At the end of the day, you probably hope to win multiple in that span, but if you win just even one, you consider it to be a W, especially for an organization like the Nets that has never won one before. This past season, I and most people would have expected the Nets to have made the NBA Finals, and if you saw my bracket going into the playoffs, I did have them in the Finals, and it's pretty safe to assume that that definitely would have made it there if Kyrie was playing. Never mind, like after that was an ankle injury. and if Harden was basically not playing on just one leg, it's pretty safe to assume that they would have made it. If we're being honest, you were a couple inches away from winning in regulation in Game 7. So anything is really up in the air at this point. But if you are the Brooklyn Nets, your time to win is right now, and you locked your main superstar in for the future, and you did good in that regard. And now it's time to work on the other extensions and work towards titles. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this extension that was pretty necessary. Smash that like button if you did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button to see more content from me. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.